2 more manoeuvres for all the crews here. It's all about whether anyone makes a mistake now, Todd. This is Australia's to lose. Oh, my Lord, he's off the foils. This has given New Zealand a chance. He's going to have to turn again, and he's going to be slow when he turns. Advantage New Zealand here. This could go to the wire, Todd. Australia have got to keep clear here. New Zealand stay on the foils. What do Australia do? On the inside, it's New Zealand. Slingsby holds on. He leads at mile 5.
It is an absolute drag race for $1 million. The Kiwis are going to run out of water. The Australian dynasty is still intact, and the three-peat is now complete.
I was pretty scared, but yeah, I was thinking this could be the biggest choke of all time right now. Fortunately, we were able to get over the line.
Yeah, how good. 3 SailGP world titles in a row for Australia, and the man at the helm joins us right now, Tom Slingsby. Congratulations, Tom. Well played. With the $1 million prize money in the back pocket, San Francisco just painted out before you. Did you hit the town immediately?
Not immediately, unfortunately, but yeah, we didn't have to wait too long to get into the celebrations, and yeah, we painted the town Australian that night, that's for sure.
I love it. We heard in the commentary, look, and there's been a few Saturday nights that I've been off the foils, but that was a moment that was incredibly serious at the back end of a race that you dominated. Suddenly you're in a hairy situation.
Yeah, it was. We basically came out with the idea if we're in front, we're going to defend very aggressively and never give them much leverage to get away from us. But on the last lap of that race, we led the whole way, and that tactic was working great. But on the last lap, it started getting really patchy, the wind, and a lot lighter, and they were able to catch us. They stayed in more wind, and they almost caught us, but not quite.
Tom, growing up, sailing wasn't always a priority. You did focus on tennis. And when did you start to become obsessed with sailing?
I became obsessed with sailing at the Sydney Olympics. I was a big tennis player and I loved playing tennis. But at the Sydney Olympics, I started to really enjoy sailing, and I went down and watched on Sydney Harbour every day. And yeah, that was then and there. I remember on the train back up to the Central Coast, I said, I want to win a gold medal for Australia in the Olympics. And I got home and immediately wrote down a list of goals I wanted to achieve in my career. And I was able to, start training straight away. And I ended up getting to the Olympics a few times, and then have been able to get all these amazing opportunities because of what happened at the Olympics.
What an awesome story. Isn't that fantastic for kids to think your dreams are totally achievable? Congratulations, Tom. Can you just give us a bit of insight into life off the boat? Because, I mean, people that are interested in other sports, I don't think we can imagine, Gillon McLachlan playing for a team in his own competition, but you're essentially chief executive of the team and, of course, the driver too. How does that work? Yeah, I am. I'm the CEO of the team and the driver. It's a tricky role. Obviously, sort of involved in the management of the team and who we hire, and then all the commercial side, the marketing side. It's great. I'm very fortunate to be in this position where I can basically see how all the business works. And I've been doing a managing role in sailing since about 2014. So. I love that part of it. I love learning about the business aspect, and but then sometimes I have to switch hats and put on my sailing hat and be in part of all the debriefs, do my stretching, work on my fitness, and put on the athlete side as well. So it's a juggling act, but I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to do both.
Tom, can we go back to the Olympics? You were just talking about it before, because we're very greedy here in Australia and we want more gold. You've cheated on us a few times and represented other countries. We need to know right now, will you be at Paris next year, Tom?
I won't be at Paris, unfortunately. I'm sorry. 2012 was my final time in the Olympics. But I'm an Aussie through and through. I've only ever competed at the Olympics for Australia, and I do have a dual citizenship, and I use my US passport to compete in the America's Cup for the American team. Look, if Australia had an America's Cup team, I'd be there. I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Get the hat out. Everybody get the hat out. We're raising money, Tom.
Yeah, pass the hat round. That should get there.
Tom, when people think sailing, they don't normally think jiu-jitsu or cage fighting, but you've sort of loved them both and almost brought them together. How have you managed that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird combination, isn't it? Sailing and MMA and cage fighting. But look, I became obsessed with the UFC back in 2004 when it was kind of like a tiny little sport, and I just love it. I love the technical aspect. I'm a bit weird. I don't see the brutality side of it. And I got into boxing young, and then I got into jiu-jitsu and then wrestling, judo, all that sort of side. And I just used it as a training tool for many years. I don't get to do it as much as I'd like to anymore. A little bit of boxing, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but I really love that sport, and it's great for training, keeps you fit.
I just want to show you some vision. Obviously, you've been all around the world sailing. You come to beautiful Sydney Harbour to do some sailing in this very event. And, gee, the weather does take a hold, doesn't it? We've got the vision here. I think it might be Canada who kind of halfway. This was remarkable, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was a crazy day. I'm actually in that tent on the right that the roof just blew off. It was an extremely... I guess you can say a little unlucky. It was a crazy weather event. The wind was supposed to build to up to 30 knots, but in the end we got 56 knots gusts. The wind was really wrapping around Barangaroo and the Crown Hotel there, and yeah, it caught us all by surprise. We were ready for 30 knots. We weren't ready for 56 knots, and yeah, freak storm, a lot of damage, but we're all repaired now at SailGP and we're ready to roll.
Ready to roll. You're doing so beautifully. As I said, 3 in a row. It's so great to speak to you. You will be involved in the America's Cup on American Magic, but Australian through and through. Lovely to talk to you. When you're back, come and join us in the studio.